All right, so it looks like it's live now.
Okay. Hi, Tiffany. My name is Angie. Thanks for coming to speak with me today. So today we're just gonna talk about maybe a fun event that has happened in your life. Is there any event that comes to mind that you would like to share?
Yeah, so in 2016, I decided that I was going to follow my dream of wanting to act, and I started doing extra work. So I ended up getting to be on my favorite TV show, and I got to be in Office Christmas Party, which that's actually not the fun memory, but that leads me to my fun memory. So for 10 years, I've been wanting a dog, and I've been asking and asking, and every Christmas I asked, and it just never happened. And so when I was filming Office Christmas Party, I had to. I still live at home just to help my parents, but I had to like go stay with my aunt and uncle in South Georgia so that I could film the movie because it was way closer. And so I guess while I was gone, they were finally empty nesters and they knew what it was like to not have a child that talked all the time and they got lonely. So on my last day of filming Office Christmas Party, my mom texted me a picture of a dog. And I was like, what is this? Like, is this some sort of sick joke? Like, why are you doing this? And she told me that my dad had finally agreed and that we were going to get a dog. And I thought she was pranking me and everything. And there was a lot of excitement going on with finishing filming the movie and like wrapping that up and, realizing that I just followed one of my biggest dreams. And so, anyways, she texted me right like 15 minutes before we wrapped and said, your dad said yes. So as soon as you get home tomorrow, we're going to pick her up. And so I wrapped the movie at 3 o'clock in the morning and I drove all the way home. And so I think I got home at like 6. And we got up the next day and left the house at like 10 a.m. to go. We had to drive 2 hours away to get Lucy. And so we went and picked her up. Well, first we went to PetSmart and got like a little bed, and it was around Memorial Day. And I have a crazy obsession with American flags, which is totally separate from this, but they had like a little American flag bed. And so I was like super excited about that. And so I got that for her and we went and picked her up. And I remember walking into this room, this lady's house, and there was just little tiny Yorkies everywhere. So the floor just looked like little tiny fur balls of just balls of fur just coming at you. And they were all like running towards me and they were all black and gold. And Lucy was the only white one. And I remember just like looking for her in this little tiny crowd of balls of Morkies. And I picked Lucy up, and I remember getting to hold her for the first time, and she gave me tons of kisses. And it was just really exciting to finally get her after 10 years of waiting and asking and begging. And so we brought her home, and we became the best of friends. And so that's kind of the funnest memory that sticks out in recent years. That's been something that was really exciting and it kind of coincided with ending, being an extra and getting to do that. And so it was kind of two big memories in one, I guess, because not every day do you wrap a Hollywood movie with Jennifer Aniston and get to have like fireworks and a party. And then the next day, you get a puppy. So it just was a really good time for me. So,
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of got followed through with two dreams all within a two day time span there. It was almost, did you think it was almost like um kind of like a gift for wrapping up the movie, then you got the dog?
yeah, I kind of did feel like this was kind of my present for being, because we filmed that movie for 3.5 months and I was there every day for like 12 to 18 hours a day. And so it was kind of, it all just felt so surreal. It almost didn't feel real because I was like, okay, my mom's just like playing a prank on me because I just finished, filming a movie, which was insane in itself. And then I'm like, okay, so now my dream of getting a dog is coming true. So like, I was hoping that day 3, like the husband I'd been waiting on was just going to appear out of nowhere, but that didn't happen. But it just was a really kind of crazy time where life just everything went my way, I guess. Or everything, you just kind of, you wait for something for so long and then you finally get it and you just treasure it 1,000 times more than you would have had it been given to you the second you asked for it. And so I definitely learned in getting Lucy that like the process of how they say like good things come to those who wait, like finally after waiting for so long, like, and now that I'm older and I'm getting closer to, I'm in my upper 20s now, and so like I just feel like I appreciate it more than I would have at like 16. Then, so it's just been a real blessing to have her, and she's like my little kid right now because I don't have kids yet. So I dress her up and we're taking our Christmas pictures later today, and so I'm excited about that. But
well, it sounds like you definitely found the perfect dog, and especially after waiting that whole time, and you said that she was the one different colored one. How did you come to know and figure out which dog that was the one, especially since you said you had to travel a little bit the ways? Was there not other options of that breed of dog around, or did you feel like you just had a connection and knew that that was the one?
Well, I had always wanted a Yorkie, but my dad has always, had big dogs. He's never had like little dogs. It's never been something he had. We had a black lab growing up, and but she wasn't like an inside dog. She stayed sort of in the basement, and but my mom is actually the one that found her. So she just randomly started searching puppies one day and found a website called puppyfind.com, and she looked at Yorkies, but happened to find the breed Morkie while looking at Yorkies, and so she found like a Maltese mixed with a Yorkie. And honestly, I think the choice was because it was like $700 cheaper for the Morkie. But she sent me lots of pictures of different dogs, but then once I got the picture of Lucy, I was just like, that's the dog. Like, she's so cute. We have to have her. And so that was the one that we chose. And I love that she's white, and she's kind of white and black now. And but her ears are gold. So she's super cute. I would show her to you, but she's locked back there. But I'll show you her picture. She's definitely Little Miss. She's just true to her Yorkie self. She's super energetic and outgoing and loves everyone she meets. So she's been a huge blessing in our life. But this is, let me find a good picture. This is her. Let's see if you can see that. But that's the little.
Oh, wow, is that a bandana? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That was after she got groomed. I dress her up for every holiday and every season, so.
Well, of course, that's
a little extra with my dog, but.
Yeah, so it sounds like if you're gonna have a dog that you've been waiting this long for, you're gonna want to have fun with her.
Yeah, definitely treasure.
Yeah. Is there any significance to her name?
Not really, no. We were driving up to get her, and we were just kind of going through a list of names, and I wanted her to have a human name. I didn't want her to be named like Biscuit or something like that. Like, I wanted her to have a name that was like something that you wanted to say all the time. And I just looked on Pinterest of #1 dog names, and I wanted to name her Ellie or Phoebe. My dad was like, no, we're not naming the dog Phoebe. And my mom said something else that started with an L, and we were like, no. And then my dad said Lucy, and I was like, yeah, I like Lucy more than I like that other name. And then my mom liked it, so we all just kind of agreed on it. And then once we met her, she just was a Lucy, and she doesn't really have a middle name either, but we just call her Lucy, and she's definitely brought a lot of joy to our family in a time that we really needed it the most, kind of. And so it just couldn't have worked out to be a more perfect situation of like the time she came into our lives, and it just happened to coincide with another massive event in my life. And now she's back there scratching on the door, like wanting to get out to see what I'm doing. But the saddest part about all of it is that she's technically my parents' dog. So when I do like move out and get married, I have to leave her here or I have to clone her. So that's the only part right now that we have to figure out. We're going to have to share custody somehow because she sleeps with me and spends most of the time with me. So we'll definitely have to figure that out. But it's definitely one of the biggest blessings.
Yes. I would say so, especially going from a movie and then getting the dream of having a dog. I mean, those are two extremely exciting things. I remember how excited I was when I got my dog. So it's like another family member. But
yeah,
I know I can just see from the way that you talk about her that it's like you light up. So I can see how much joy she brings to you. And
yeah.
I mean, in the future when you need, if you have to move out and you can't bring her, at least you kind of got a taste of a little bit of what having a dog is like, and taking care of them and all of that stuff. And you'll be able to see her still if she's at your parents', I'm assuming. But
Yeah.
is having, how do you think what it's actually like having a dog is like compared to what you thought it would be like? Is it?
Well, I definitely had one when I was little, and I think there's been some regret just because I was so young when we got our dog Blackie that I didn't really appreciate her or invest as much time in her as I do Lucy. But at the same time, she was more like an outside dog. She didn't like live in the house with us, and she was like a huge lab. I mean, I think she was like 140 pounds versus this little 5-pound dog that pretty much can go anywhere with us. And so there was a little bit more regret, but I think getting her after 10 years of not having a dog, I kind of forgot, like, you can't just leave for like 7 hours and like leave her at home alone. Like, you have to remember, like, oh, the dog's at home, I have to go let her out, or, she's been in her crate too long. And I think definitely when we first got her, I don't think I left the house for like 6 months other than like to go to work and come home, like, just because I just wanted to spend all my time with her. It was like I waited so long and here you are. But I definitely think it's preparing me for motherhood because she's basically like a 2-year-old. She's into everything and all the time just like making a mess. And so it's definitely preparing me for what life's going to be like in a few years when I finally settle down and have kids and have a dog as well then, because I want a husky now. So I have my Yorkie, and one day I'm going to get my husky, and then I'll have all the dogs that I've ever wanted. So but it was definitely an adjustment when we first got her to sleeping with a dog and, having her constantly. So now it's like crazy when we plan to go on vacation or something like that. Like, we have to find places we can take her because she's too cute to like leave, I guess. So it's definitely been an adjustment for sure. I never thought I'd be one of those crazy dog moms, but I totally am. So I definitely am that person that they talk about that's like super extra with the dog. And so she's very spoiled. That's for sure.
Well, I think that if it makes you happy, then, and I mean, dogs that are spoiled are definitely happy dogs as well. So if everybody's happy, it's that there's no problem there. You said that it was an adjustment with a puppy, which I'm sure there is. I have experience as well with that. Would you say that it was maybe difficult or easy going from living somewhere else and shooting that movie and then coming home and having to take on the responsibility of a puppy?
I definitely think it was an adjustment because I actually 3 days after we got her had a cruise planned sort of as the end of like the wrapping the movie. So I went on a cruise for a week. And so I kind of feel like I missed like her first week at home and kind of adjusting to that. And so when I did finally come home after the cruise, I kind of settled down. It was just adjusting back to being at home. And then like I started working at a group home to kind of follow into the social work footsteps. So it was kind of just an all like adjustment time that summer, just being at home again. And then we originally weren't going to let Lucy sleep in the bed with any of us. We were going to keep her in a crate, or not in a crate, but like in a playpen sort of thing. But she learned how to climb out of that within like 3 days. And so it was kind of like I had no choice. It was actually really funny because the thing was like a big crate for a normal like size dog, and this little 5-pound dog climbed out of it in the middle of the night, and I heard her little caller like standing at my door, and I'm like, how did you get out of this? And so from that point on, she started sleeping with me, and now it's like I can't sleep without her. But it was definitely an adjustment, but it was also like a learning time, and I think it was a good experience for sure.
Yeah, I think that dogs are really, they are really helpful in helping learn. Obviously, as a grown up, we learn responsibilities, but just the responsibility of a dog and taking care of another thing besides yourself in such a way that it's like around the clock time, especially when they're puppies. I mean, it definitely is. It is very, very similar to a child. So
Yeah.
it sounds like, you have such joy. It sounds like in love for your puppies. So I think that oftentimes makes it easier to deal with it when you're sleep deprived from waking up through the nights and stuff like that with your puppy that wants to go potty, and
Yeah.
makes it a little bit easier, I think. But well, I'm really glad that you were able to finally follow through with that dream you had for 10 years. That's a really long time. A lot of patience it shows that you have for waiting. You didn't just rush out there and grab a dog. You waited till it was the perfect time that you could love and take care of it. And it sounds like it's the perfect time, and everything that you were hoping it would be is turning out the way it was. And I'm so glad that you finally got to experience the love of a dog, because they are amazing.
Yeah.
And your baby is so cute. Um, but anyway, so our session is about to be up. I did want to ask you if you had any feedback for me as far as how I did listening and as a social worker with you.
I definitely think you did a good job, and I think that you had a lot of good questions to ask. Because I think we actually went over 15 minutes, but so I definitely think that you're a really good listener, as well as like knowing kind of what to ask and to keep the conversation going. And so I think that in a situation where somebody maybe isn't as talkative, or really needed to talk about something that maybe wasn't a happy memory, I think that you'd definitely be able to kind of get them to talk about it and get them to kind of pull it out and say what they needed to say and be able to really let that go and move forward. So I definitely think that you did a good job as a social worker, and I think that you'll do really good at listening, and kind of, I could tell that you cared about what I was saying, and that like it made you happy that something made me so happy. And so I definitely think that you have that part down of being a social worker, and like understanding that sometimes people just want to like talk, and they just want to feel like you care about what they're saying. And I definitely felt like you cared, like what I had to say, and like it meant something to you that it meant something to me. So I definitely think you did a good job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing that with me. And I'll let you go so that you can let that cute little baby out of the room.
Awesome.
But
Well,
thank
see you next
you.
time.
Yes, I'm looking forward to speaking with you next time.